Hey, so I'm here again. It's your girl SeekretD with part 3 of my video about being upfront and taking away people's choice. So I discussed, for me, the top 2 things that I feel like people should absolutely share with someone that they're trying to date, build a life with, get to know, this, that, and the third. Someone that you feel like you're going to date with the intention of getting married, starting a family, living together, building together. The first one I said was children. Whether or not you have children, whether or not you want to have children, whether or not you can have children. All of these things I feel like should absolutely be discussed. I don't think it's up for discussion. I don't think it's something that, you don't have to tell. No, that's the one. Number 2, marriage. Whether or not you've been married, whether or not you want to be married, whether or not you believe in marriage. And I cut that one short because I was going left to right and center. But I have more examples and more things that go with that. But we don't need to hear all of that. We can make a separate video, right? Number 3, the absolute, I feel like there's 4. I'll do 3 and 4 here because 3 and 4. 3 I feel like is really important. 4 kinda not so much, but 3 and 4 I would say are 3, whether or not you were born a different gender than the gender you're presenting to be. I feel like that's extremely important because nowadays, and granted, I feel like now people are more open and they're a little more comfortable because the world is more comfortable. The world is more accepting of, transgendered people and people from the different communities and all of these things. So I feel like I can't find my ID card and I'm late. I'm more late than I thought I would be because traffic is sometimes not kind. But I feel like this is very important. It doesn't matter how well you pass or how well you look or how undetectable it is and how no one can tell. I really feel like this is a choice you should absolutely not take from someone. People get hurt attempting to do this. People get injured. People get killed because they omitted this to someone and they felt some kind of way about it. That is a choice that you should absolutely not take from somebody because I feel like they deserve to know. And if they love you, fine, but you don't try to make them love you first so that they'll accept it. Hello, good morning.
This is gonna be expired, right?
October something, right?
Yeah, the end of the month.
Okay, thank you. So that's absolutely not something that you withhold from somebody because that's not right. And I feel like a lot of it, like I said, I don't think it happens as much anymore. I feel like people pretend they don't know or they didn't know when it comes into the public, which, listen, love who you love, like what you like. You shouldn't give a fuck about what anybody thinks about it. So for me, okay, let them talk, let them do whatever they got to do. What they think about you is none of your business. So that's the one thing. And the last 2, I know I said 1, but the last 2, I would say if you have some kind of criminal history, like serious criminal history past, like you were incarcerated, you killed somebody or whatever, I feel like those type of stuff should also be shared. I get it, it's your personal past. But if people feel a way about people that have certain things going on, especially if there's some kind of moral compass within them, people say you should forgive as a Christian and all this good stuff, but people can talk it, but everybody don't believe it, you know what I mean? So even though people might say, oh yeah, you forgive this, that, and the third, they might not actually walk that walk, and that might actually not be okay with them, the fact that you have these kind of things in your past, right? So last but not least is, I guess, some financial stuff. Again, I don't think you have to give it all, but some people might want to know if you have like a bunch of debt, but that stuff comes up. I feel like that's something that comes up, and I feel like that's something you should not lie about if it does come up. I'm all for don't ask, don't tell, but I'm not for, I'm gonna ask you and then you're gonna lie to me. because that's going to affect the other person. You know, they want to know, if we get married, if we have kids, what do I have to look forward to financially? What do I have to, you know, think about financially as far as joining our homes together and all these good stuff. So to sum up my list, number 1, children. Number 2, marriage. Number 3, gender. Number 4, what is that? Criminal history. And number 5, finances. And again, I know people who are married that say that their spouse doesn't know how much money they make and this, that, and the third. But I still feel like it's important to let people know if you have, you know, debt of any kind, like student loans and all that good stuff. Again, it's kind of like a don't ask, don't tell. But if they ask, I think you should tell. So for me, those are the top 5 things that you absolutely should try to be transparent about. Like, again, everybody I know is not as transparent as I am, but those things I feel like should be non-negotiables. And if you disagree, especially on those first 3, please tell me why. Tell me why, because I'm curious. And also tell me why you think it would be okay to withhold such information from someone that you are going to get to know with the intent of building a future with. And yes, you hardly know them, so you don't owe them anything. But I feel like after a couple dates, after that, I don't know, I feel like the first date or before the first date, you should let them know. Because if one of those things is like a hard pass for them, then not telling them before that first date is kind of like wasting their time. Because now you're going to make them go on 3 dates to find out this information, and they're not going to be with you. So you thinking that you're going to date them until you make them not care is not a thing, especially if people have strong convictions about certain things. So for me, like I said, those are things you should talk about very early on. Again, if you disagree, let me know why. I'm very curious to know, and you know, maybe it'll give me a new perspective. All right, bye.